Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Chairperson of this technical session, Chairman Markazi Taleemi Board, Janab Mustafa Farooq Sahab, Janab Mahmood Siddiqui Sahab, other dignitaries, educationists, professors, students, boys and girls. In the morning session, we learned about importance of value education, and the importance has been laid down in the NEP. In fact, the prime objective of education is to make human being a moral being. So this trajectory requires internalization of values. The paper which we are intending to present before the Standing Committee on NCF, National Curriculum Framework, headed by Professor Kasturi Rangan. Just to refresh your memories, you might have seen NCF of 2005, National Curriculum Framework 2005. After releasing the NCF 2005, NCERT had also released a NCF for value education. So we expect that this Standing Committee on NCF, which has recently on 20th October released first volume of NCF, National Curriculum Framework, which deals with foundation education, will also subsequently prepare the NCF for value education. We had informally discussed with Mr. Kasturi Rangan on 28 July 2022, and we had discussed the importance of guiding the schools about how to impart or how to internalize values at various levels. So in that meeting, Dr. Kasturi Rangan had suggested us, rather advised us, present before the academia, try to validate it and then present to this committee. This committee means the Standing Committee for NCF. So we started the process and we designed this entire paradigm, and we are very much thankful to Jamia Humdard that they agreed, and university has organized this wonderful seminar to validate that draft. This draft contains some important elements. Number one is introduction of value education with reference to NEP. The second chapter or second part of this paper is about the proposals or about the recommendations given by various committees on education policies. Then the third part is the module which could be adopted at various levels, the module of internalization of values, and the final part is how to assess values which are internalized among the students. So I don't touch the introductory part of the paper, and directly I would like to explain the module due to paucity of time. The module basically believes that values are different and the morality is different. Values are set of rules and morality is manifestation of those values. A person could understand or could know the values, but not necessary that a student or a person who knows the values also practicing or internalizing those values. For example, many persons, they know that bribe is a bad habit or a bad value, but still they take bribe. So this is lack of morality, or we can say value is not internalized in that particular person. So values are not only to be taught, but values are to be internalized. The net result will come only when schools, community, society, religion internalize values among the persons. So in many religion, we see the system of internalization. In Islam, we term it as tazkiyah. So tazkiyah is nothing but how a person can live a life in a conditioned manner. Here conditioned means he should know that his life should be lived as a person of a system, the system which is obedient to Almighty, the system which has belief of accountability. So the belief system has that tazkiyah aspect. Unfortunately, in our country, we have been reading the recommendations of various policies that morality is important, moral education is important, values should be taught. But unfortunately, we could not see any effective and robust model. So here we tried. We don't claim that this is a perfect module, but the learned persons, learned academicians, educationists gathered here, they can help us to improve upon that module. Module begins as follows. Number one, we have suggested to the NCF that the NCF should advise schools to constitute a committee which should supervise, which should undertake the implementation of values. So there should be a committee at a school level, and this committee should constitute of representative from parents, teachers, noble persons of the community or the society. So these three important stakeholders, apart from others, should be there in the committee. Number two, there should also be a committee at block level. There are block level officers in the education system. The system of governance in the field of education is different in the different states. Many states follow the pattern of BEO and DDPIs. So at BEO level, there should be a committee at school level and a committee at block level. So it should be a two-tier system. So again, a committee at block level should have representatives from parents, noble person from the society or community. So these are the two bodies which should supervise the efficient implementation of values among the students. Third level is each school should select a set of values to be internalized in that particular academic year. These values should be decided in consultation with that committee which just I described, which should be constituted at school level. And this school level committee should interact with the block level committee of internalization of values. So after interacting with the block level education committee and the school level education committee, the school should decide set of values for a particular year. These values should be decided keeping in mind the social composition of that locality in which school is operating, the social background of students studying in that particular school, and the level of schools for which, the level of grades for which these set of values are decided. For example, we can break these set of values different for different levels, like for foundational level, we can have different values. Foundational level means from nursery to grade 2, then grade 3 to grade 5, grade 5 to grade 8, then 9, 10, 11 and 12. So these are the categories which NEP has designed. So for various categories, for different categories, we should have different values. And these values should be internalized in that particular year. This is third level. Fourth, now the actual process begins. In a conventional manner, value education means we either tell, talk or give lecture on the values which we have selected. For example, honesty. Teacher used to give lecture on the honesty, or teacher normally provides some story books describing the importance of honesty. This is the usual process of teaching values. In many cases, the period devoted for value education is not organized properly. In our days, there would be a period for value education, but teacher would not take that period, and they would just ask us to go and play in the ground. So this was the period of value education in our days. Even today, we distribute some books, or we ask students to go to the library and read some books. Now, if we are serious about internalization of values, we should change our approach and this is the approach which we have designed. So the actual internalization process begins here. There are 6 levels. One is these values should be consciously provoked in the minds of students. So this can be done by saying stories and by describing the importance of those values, the benefits of those values, and this description or explanation can be generated from the belief system, the society or the culture to which those students belong, and many a time we can draw the explanations of these values from the folk literature. So at conscious level we would be doing this. After provoking the conscious level, then the next level is implementation level. Now the student has understood the importance, he has digested rather that value, but it is still in the conscious level. Now the second level is implementation level. So this has to be implemented at personal level. We should see the changes in the life, in the behavior, in the attitude of a child. Then after his individual and personal level, the third level is a child or a student should implement that value in the family. He should communicate with the family, he is interacting with the family, he is engaging with the family. So while engaging, communicating and living the life with the family, he should create impact, and that value should be implemented and that value should be nurtured in that family. After family, a student interact or engages himself with the friends. So he should create impact among the students. This is 4th level, no? 3rd level. Okay, fine. So 3rd level. So he should create impact on his or her friends. For example, if a friend is not maintaining his life, he is not observing cleanliness, so that particular child who has learned the value of cleanliness, he should preach his friend to be clean and to maintain hygiene. So this is creating an impact among friends, right? Next level, after friends, that student engages himself with whom after friends? Can you tell me? First is family, second is friend, third, obvious, third is society. Wonderful. So society. So he is getting himself engaged with the society. So he should create impact on the society. Okay. Then after society, nation. Wonderful. Very good. So these are the 6 levels with whom a student, a person engages himself. So he must and should create on these 6 levels. First is mainly related with intrapersonal skill, because he is dealing with his conscious and his own personality. So first level is more a kind of intrapersonality skill, and rest of the 4s are interpersonal skills. Okay, he is dealing with groups, he is dealing with the individuals, he is dealing with the community, he is dealing with the society. In this module, we have in detail dealt with how student or school should get connected with the community, because one of the important point in the NEP is that school should get connected with the community. Okay, much has been said in the NEP that how a school should bring a change in the community. So through this project, the schools will work to bring a change in the community. Today we are observing that unfortunately in many areas we see schools, we see madrasas, but the vicinity in which these schools and madrasas are operating, there the social life is very poor. Why it is so? Because these schools are just working to increase the marks or to beautify the mark sheet. But they don't have the responsibility to, they are not shouldering the responsibility to bring change in the society. So, the fourth level of our module also satisfies one of the main objective of the NEP, that is connecting a school with the community. There is one more concept in the democracy, and that concept is participation in the good governance. On this concept, we see many Western countries are strengthening their own democracy. But unfortunately, in our country, democracy means exercising the power of vote. Okay, it is more than that. So we should teach our students, particularly students of secondary and higher secondary grade, that we have the responsibility to contribute to the nation. So this can be done by this particular concept of participation in the good governance. So our sixth level is we should prompt the students, we should encourage the students to participate in the good governance. How it will happen, I will explain you in the later part of this presentation. So these are the 6 levels. Now, friends, how this internalization shall be happen in all these 6 levels? So number 1, it could be with the chalk and talk method. With talk method, you speak, you deliver lecture, presentations, etc., etc., okay, which are commonly used in all the schools. The second point, or the second very important tool, is you can have a problem solving sessions. Okay, like how a child can solve the problem of water stagnation in his or her home. So these kind of small projects of problem solving can be given to the students. Again, these problem solving projects shall be of age appropriate. Number 3, by the group discussions, by deliberations. Number 4, by various projects. There is a concept of learning by doing, kinesthetic learning. We know there are 3 popular approaches of learning or styles of learning. So the most effective style of learning is kinesthetic, which is learning by doing. So prepare the small projects. In this regard, we are in the process of preparing 101 projects for the internalization of values. For example, recently we conducted a project or a program or a competition among the primary school students, and that project was about helping the older people. Okay, on the eve of January 26th, Republic Day, we asked the student to capture the moments of helping the older people. So, group of students, they went in the society, and in the various with the various methods, in an innovative style, they helped the older people, and they captured those moments in their mobile phones, in the mobile phones of parents, and they submitted. The result was beautiful. They enjoyed, and this will definitely help them to internalize this value of helping the older people. Another project was given to the students of high school level, that go and visit to the orphanages, interact with the inmates, and narrate the experiences. Students beautifully narrated the experience. Many, they were emotionalized. They could not control their emotions. They said, we got father and mother. And those who did not have the father and mother, they are very unfortunate. And how they are living with the challenges. Okay. Then another project given was very simple project. Collect the old clothings which are there in your homes, wash, bring them, and collectively distributed in the nearby slum areas. So these are a few projects, but definitely you have experienced, or you have such kind of projects in your mind, right? So coming to the projects dealing with the better participation in the better governance, is one project. What we did was, we had organized a student parliament. Okay, many colleges and many schools, they are doing this exercise. So in the students parliament, student of a particular school where it was organized, they discussed about the burden of books. Okay, and this had happened some 6 or 7 years ago, and the school was from Bangalore. They drafted a memorandum urging the education minister to issue a circular to reduce that baggage. And you might be remembering that a circular was issued by the Human Resource Ministry to reduce the weight of that baggage, and the weight was brought down to 5 kgs or something. Okay, so this was a kind of exercise those students did. They got the appreciation letter from the then HRD ministry. Another project was student from X college school. They took their students to the nearby police station, because many students which are in the primary and higher school level, they think that thieves and criminals are staying in the police station. So that school took them to the police station. Students interacted with police persons and the SHO and other officers over there. So they understood what is police, and a kind of hesitation is always there in the Samaj and society, that police is not to help the citizens, but to create a kind of havoc in the society. Yes, so that was wonderful experience. Okay, a school took a student to the member of parliament, to the MLA, and in one case, there was a garbage in front of a school. So a student of that particular school, they sat nearby that garbage and urged the corporation to clean that garbage. They interacted with the corporator, they interacted with the MLA. So this way they understood their rights. Okay, what are their rights? In our democratic society, students should understand their rights also and understand how to resolve their problems in a democratic way. It is not that always you should restore to undemocratic means. So this is about engaging with the nation. Okay, so these are the 6 levels we have designed. Details are there in the paper. Now the final part is about assessment of these values. Couple of years ago, there was a petition, the Supreme Court, that the value education, the assessment system, the marks allotment system should be part of the mainstream mark sheet which is prepared, which has 5 subjects, 2 languages, should also have value as a subject. Now, in the light of NEP, many schools have introduced the 6th compulsory subject as skill development. NIOS has introduced this. Even CBSE is going to introduce skill development. One skill should be taught at high school level. So that the petitioner asked, if a skill is taught, other subjects are taught, why not value should be a subject among those subjects which are reflected in the mark sheet? Supreme Court has advised CBSE to work on this. So we have designed a small assessment system and we have suggested rubrics also. How to gauge that, how much internalization has been taken place in a particular student. One assessment could be his conscious level, understanding, how much he has understood about that value which we had selected at initial level. For example, if we have selected 10 values for this particular year, now we can ask student to deliberate on those values and to discuss those values. So by verbal communication, explanation, deliberations, debate, we can understand his conscious level. So we can allot certain marks for the conscious level. Then the second is how much he has internalized. So this can be assessed with the help of PTA meeting. We call the parents for the meeting. So most of the time this PTA meeting is meant for collecting the fee. But here PTA meeting should also be used for understanding the internalization which has been taken place in the student. Second. Third is a teacher can get the feedback from the students, from friends of that particular student, that how is his behavior and how he is interacting with you, his lifestyle. So this could be the third approach or third source of assessing the internalization of value in particular student. And the fourth level is we can see how is behaving in the community, and the fifth is through various projects that a school has given to particular student or a team of student for particular project. So this is these are the rubrics for the assessment system. So this is in brief If there is any question, you are welcome. Thank you so much.